It's not the real estate agents that have inflated pricing. It's the world that we live in that is inflated pricing. It's our economy. It's our government. It's everything. It is what it is. But I wouldn't imagine in any bizarro world that if realtors were out of the game, a home seller is going to take less than what they feel their home is worth. So of course prices have gone up. Oh wait, hold on. We don't talk about the elephant in the room. What about the government allowing corporations to come in and swoop up inventory at record-breaking levels? Why don't we talk about that? Maybe the lack of availability is causing the rise in home price. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. But if we were really conspiring, who's the conspirators here? I don't think it's realtors. All right, y'all, here we go again. Here it comes. Check this out. Another lawsuit. Now, if you're in real estate, you've heard about this, but now we're suing the buyer's agents. Now we're saying that there's a class action lawsuits against the buyer's agents. This time it's for hundreds of billions of dollars. Yeah, well, first off, let's just be real. Let's be real. There ain't no money to pay these people. There ain't no money. Like, they win, they lose. There's no billions of dollars sitting around in a gold chest for these lawsuits. So I don't know what these people are thinking. Number two, right? So number one, there's just weird. Number two, the seller signed an agreement that said, I'm going to compensate the listing agent. The listing agent then said to Mr. and Mrs. Seller, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm going to compensate a buyer's agent out of the fee that I negotiated for me, for them helping me get your home sold. Now, that's what happens. There's no weird things going on. Now, whatever the fee is, 1%, 3%, 5%, 7%, 6%, 9%, every fee is different. And let me tell you, I've seen the back of agents' commissions. How do you know? Because I ran a team and I had a bunch of agents, and some of my agents would get more for their listings. Some of them would get less because of their skill level, their ability to negotiate. Sometimes we would give a 1% fee to the seller. Why? Because it was an elderly lady that needed the money to go to her retirement home. Cool, no worries. Free money for me. Still going to do my job, right? Like, still going to do my job. Did I make as much money? No. Did I give her less service? Of course not. That's what I agreed upon. Now, some deals, as the listing agent, I made 4, 5, and even 6%. How? Because I negotiated better and said, if I do X, Y, and Z, I do X, Y, and Z, I get X, Y result, then you guys compensate me because you're going to net more money. And they said, yes, please. We want more money for our home. Now, here's what the idiots are saying out there, that home selling, like home prices have been elevated because of a real estate commission. Well, haven't attorney fees been elevated because of attorney commissions, right? Isn't that what an attorney does? They get a commission based off of their awarded judgment. Interesting. Now, let's say Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller buy a house, right? And these are intelligent people, even if they're reasonably, let's say they're not geniuses, but they're reasonably intelligent. Would they not negotiate the highest price possible for themselves? Are we not paying $6 a gallon for gas currently? Is any company in it to not make a profit? Is anybody in it to not, right? So the home seller wants the most money every time. It's not the real estate agents that have inflated pricing. It's the world that we live in that is inflated pricing. It's our economy. It's our government. It's everything. It is what it is, as they say here in Medellin, Colombia. Es lo que es. It is what it is. But I wouldn't imagine in any bizarro world that if realtors were out of the game, a home seller is going to take less than what they feel is worth, their home is worth. So of course prices have gone up. Oh wait, hold on. We don't talk about the elephant in the room. What about the government allowing corporations to come in and swoop up inventory at record-breaking levels? Why don't we talk about that? Maybe the lack of availability is causing the rise in home price? I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. But if we were really conspiring, who's the conspirators here? I don't think it's realtors. Realtors are working way too damn hard just trying to make ends meet, because most agents are not making a $500,000 commission like they show on Selling Sunset. Most agents are selling $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes. They're getting 2 to 3% of that sale. They're paying their broker an astronomical fee. They're then paying a bunch of other MLS fees. They have to pay their car payment so that they could drive around. They have to pay a Key Supra thing. Like there's an app that you actually have to pay to open the doors. You have to pay a bunch of other fees. You have to be licensed every 2 years. There's a whole crap ton of fees to be a real estate agent. I don't know why they don't talk about that on Selling Sunset. I mean, obviously, if you're getting a $500,000 commission, your $10,000 a year in fees isn't that big of a deal. But if you're making $50,000 a year and you're paying $10,000 in fees, or $15,000 in fees, or $20,000 in fees, depending on what your split is with your brokerage, you ain't making so much money. You ain't making so much money. You ain't selling Sunset, right? And you're working your ass off. You're calling your clients are calling you at 8 o'clock at night, stressed out, and you're taking the call instead of being with your kids at dinner. Oh yeah. A lot of my clients, the reason they want to work with me is, hey, Vic, I want to learn to have a better process because I don't want to miss my minions growing up. I've already missed too many family events. I've already spent too much time on the phone during birthdays. I've already spent too much time not going to the beach when we're on family vacation in Hawaii because I'm talking to you, the client. Oh, it's the truth. We want to work with more listings, not buyers. Why? Because the listing side is a little bit more controlled and less chaotic. Why? Because you buyers are demanding. And now y'all are going to sue the people that took care of you, that worked their asses off. Are you guys flipping insane right now? Are you insane? Are you insane? When you buy a car, who builds the car? Well, you got some people in China building a bunch of your car. Then you got an assembly line, maybe in Mexico, assembling all the components. But you walk in and you pay the dealership. You pay the bank a financing fee, right? Well, same thing in real estate. The listing agent gets the money. The listing agent then says, I am willing to pay other people along the way to help complete the transaction. I'm willing to pay the subcontractor to put your roof on. The subcontractor then goes hire people from Home Depot that are standing out front because they have a labor shortage. So they hire some guys from Home Depot that say they know how to do roofing, and they slap a roof on your house. It's not the general contractor that is doing the roofing work. In fact, oftentimes the general contractor no longer gets their hands dirty. They have a business. But your listing agent is negotiated a price that they feel is fair out of what their compensation is to bring a buyer's agent so that the buyer can have representation, so that the job of the listing agent is actually easier. It's smoother because if the buyer has representation, it actually makes the transaction smoother for you, the consumer. Because without the buyer's agent, would you know where to find your inspector? Would you know where to get the sewer plumbed? Would you know that you should even check to scope all the sewer lines to the street to make sure there's no cracks or roots in it? Would you know to check for mold? Would you know to check the foundation? Would you know how to check the windows? Would you know how to look for black mold in the attic and the crawl space? Would you know how to look for the water damage in the basement on the concrete? Would you know that the ventilation was wrong? Would you know all the financing options? Would you know all of the components of the transaction, the legality when you sign your name to a legal binding contract, Mr. and Mr. Buyer? No. And guess what? The listing agent doesn't want to do that. You know why? Because they oftentimes feel that that would be a breach of conflict. So instead they say, hey, I will pay out of my earnings to make my life easier for my client to have a better experience and to bring a bigger pool of buyers into my universe. I will pay out of my hard-earned money to get a listing, you, the buyer's agent. Now, here's the sad part. The only people listening to this channel are realtors. That's the sad part. Because if you were a consumer and you understood the sacrifices that your real estate agent made on a daily basis to provide you with the absolute best service that they could. Now, am I saying that every real estate agent is great? No. No. There's about 20% of real estate agents that suck. It is what it is. You guys know them. The vast majority, though, are working their asses off all day long for you. And then there's the upper crust, just like your doctor, right? Some doctors are really good. Some doctors are really excellent. And some doctors are like, yeah, I just kind of like gonna go check them out because, I'm in a bind and I can't get to my best doctor. The best doctors, right? The best doctors have a waiting line. It's hard to get in to see them, right? My dad sees new patients every day. He's 70. I was like, Pops, you should be shutting your office down at 3:00. If there's a new patient that wants to see you, they should be scheduled the next day, 2 or 3 away. He says, son, I can't do that. These people need help. Dad, you're 70. You don't need to be working till 7:00 at night. You should be getting home at 5, going for a walk with the dogs, like sitting outside in your big, beautiful backyard, getting some vitamin D, sitting in the grass, grounding yourself, talking to your grandson, traveling. He says, I can't. There's too many sick people. Guess what? He should have a line, but he just forces them in any which crook, nook, and cranny. He sees 40, 60, 70, 80 patients some days. Some days he sees 70 people, right? And he spends so much time with everybody. He takes a 15-minute lunch. He still talks to his patients during his lunch break. He'll be eating, talking to his patients. Doc, do you want us to come back? Like, no, it's fine. Your agents do the same thing. They work nonstop. Yes, the ones that are at the top of the top, they do more transactions, but the 80% are working their face off. And these lawsuits are unfortunate. And if you're an agent that's listening to this, I feel your pain. I feel your frustration. I feel your agony. But here's what you need to do, right? This is no longer like a want, like I don't want to get better. No, you need to get better here. You need to have better conversations around buyer compensation, right? Because if the listing side is unable to procure a compensation for you, you now need to be able to show value as a buyer's agent. You need to have a proof over concept pieces, case studies that demonstrate how you have helped your buyers either negotiate, right? Where you show this was the purchase price. This is how we did it. This is what we got it for. Here's why we did it like this. Demonstrate your processes. Here's what happened in an inspection, right? This is what happened. This is what happened. I recommend doing X, Y, and Z. Because if we did X, Y, and Z, we found this, and this. Because we found it with this, and this, our buyer was able to get X, Y, and Z repaired, and they were able to get X dollars off. Because of that, the final price ended up being instead of this number here on the agreement, it ended up being this number. Plus, we had all these repairs done. We had it re-inspected by our inspector and a contractor. Everything checked out. Ding. Buyer moved into new home. 0 problems. Or buyer did not buy the home because the problems that were there were too great to overcome. So we recommended that the buyer doesn't purchase this home. After long talks with the listing agent, they said, we can't do anything, Buyer decided not to buy the home. We then found buyer at second property, negotiated, and we did all the same tests. Buyer moved into property. 6 years later, still happy in the property. You need to demonstrate how you're doing your job. Don't post the keys anymore on social media where it's happy buyer, happy house. Show I call it the Grey's Anatomy effect. On your social media, show the painfulness of buying a home. So when a buyer's agent comes to you, they understand that they are getting somebody who understands. If you just put keys, just sold, oh my God, I'm so great, I got another commission check. That's why they think we make so much money. These lawsuits are frivolous. They're stupid. The only people win are the attorneys. Everybody else is getting screwed. Everybody else is getting screwed. The consumer is getting screwed. The agents are getting screwed. The industry is getting screwed. Maybe the one thing that'll come out of this that I think should have come out of this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe we'll have harder regulations to become a real estate agent. Maybe there will be forced mandatory like shadowing hours. Maybe there'll be forced mandatory you have to join a reputable company and team to learn to be properly educated and mentored before you can be a solo agent, right? Maybe it'll become more like the financial world, which I would be 100% for, because if we make it harder, we make it more difficult, we make it more expensive, we limit the amount of people we allow in. If we do all of those things, we protect actually the consumer and we protect our industry that I freaking love. This is the stuff that we talk about inside of the Real Estate Sales Academy: how to be a better buyer's agent, how to be a better listing agent, how to talk about compensation, how to overcome the objections, how to do your job better, not just book more appointments, but be a better agent. This is what we train on every single week, multiple times a week inside the Real Estate Sales Academy. Because it's not just about booking appointments and making sales. It's about elevating our industry by being a better agent. When we do that, these lawsuits go away. When we become better and we elevate ourselves and we learn how to have hard conversations, we change the landscape of our industry, which I think we all love. So if you're interested in that, there's a link below. We're still doing the trial program depending on when this launches. We're still doing the trial program, but it is going to go away, where I will allow you 1 week inside of the Real Estate Sales Academy to join me personally. I've done over $250 million in real estate sales. I've sold millions of dollars of knives. I've studied with Sharon Srivastava, Jeremy Miner, Tony Robbins, NLP certified. I have a degree from a couple of different colleges, which I think those are like the least valuable things that I have. They basically taught me how to read at a 3rd grade level. Woohoo! Right? I love you. I support you. I'm here for you. If you need something, if you want a certain piece of content built, drop it in the comments, subscribe, like, share. It's all I ask is a little social currency, baby. Right? And if you're interested in learning more about how a cloud-based brokerage named Real could possibly align with your future goals, your financial goals, things of that nature, just book a call. If you're interested in learning how we are training real estate agents, not coaching you, not giving you theory, but training you on tonality and questions and how to say, what to say, where to say it, so that you have confidence when you're saying these hard conversations. There's also a link below to join me on my calendar, book in some time. Let's jam. If it works for you, amazing. If it's not the right fit for you, go find the right fit. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's my buddy Brock, right? Maybe it's my buddy Tim Macy. Maybe it's somebody else. That's totally fine. We need to raise the bar for everybody. I'll see you on the next one.